All right, we are back with the finals match of the Azubu Crystal Cup. I am Fancy Wolf. I'm going to be your caster. Well, I have been your caster for most of the day. And along with me here today is my good friend.
Well, I'm TG Popples, joining Fancy Wolf on this great Saturday evening.
And we are getting into this finals match. We just saw Clueless with two really good convincing games. First game, they showed us some really good team comping, and second game, they just had some outstanding rotations. But now they have to go against Killing Dominion since 2011, and this team...
he misclicked Katarina.
Oh dear, did he misban the Katarina? Now normally, we're pretty cool in the Dominion community, and when stuff like that happens, we PM the other guys, and we're like, yo, we didn't mean to ban that, so that's actually this person. So, that something is actually banned in place of that, I'm going to assume.
I don't know, generally it's team's discretion. They might just be rolling with it. We see Fizz, Zyra, and Leona being banned. Three very important APs. No AD bans on the table at all in this entire draft.
Getting rid of that Maokai, very good, and getting rid of the Leona. Gotta get those tanks out of the picture. Braum is still on the table. You saw his power in the last game on someone who doesn't generally play Braum. Parker's, not really known for his Braum, let alone even just playing the champion in general. Did a pretty pretty outstanding job on him. Missed a few ults. It's all good. We won't count those. Managed to win the game. So
this is a very interesting draft. All of the strong ADs are open. None of the good... Braum I would think is the pick here, unless they wanted to run something that they've specifically tested before. The other thing is Malzahar, if they want to take it away from Hafe. We have Snide Sentinel who on the blue team. He's generally the bottom laner. He plays a variety of different champions, but he's primarily just stuck to Syndra. We have Mad Supportal, who, as you would guess, is one of the only, if not the only, notable support main left in Dominion, the other being Wawix. And what he plays generally is Lulu, Janna, Sona. So we see the Janna coming up as a first pick since Purple Team did not opt to ban it.
Yeah, that Janna is definitely going to Mad Supportal. Mad Supportal, as you said, one of the best, if not the best, support main on Dominion still. Supports play very differently on Dominion than they do in SR. They still have their general, I'm trying to keep people alive, but they build a little bit differently, and how they play in terms of... Oh, we are going to have a dodge. Well... We'll see what happens with this. Wolfer is right back in the room, and I think we're going to get right back into this. They might just be redoing the bans really fast.
I'm sorry, that Katarina ban was a Janna ban. we messed up.
Oh, yeah, that Katarina ban was a Janna ban.
We messed up. We missed to ban that support. I'm sorry.
The good thing about Dominion community is just everyone is so cool when stuff like that happens. So many times I've been playing in tournament matches against a bunch of the top teams, or we're just playing fun games, and you accidentally ban something, or you forget to ban something because someone's not paying attention. You just PM them and be like, yo, we meant to ban this. We're really sorry. It's supposed to be this. But we're going to see if that Katarina ban actually comes back through again.
Except for, and between two top teams specifically, there really is occasionally a rivalry what's going on, and as me being a member of Clueless who's just casting here today, I'm telling you right now, that Snide Sentinel said, nah, you guys just don't get that bad, I'm sorry. You be in the game, pay attention.
Yep. And, I mean, most top teams are really cool with each other, but as you said, we do get those rivalries. Clueless has been reigning champs for a long time. Killing Dominion is a lot of new kids on the block. Forgot the Icing, Snide, God himself, Desiree. They haven't been around as long as a lot of the Clueless players. They kind of just came in within the past, 6 months or so. So it's kind of like the new kids on the block versus all the old guys who are really good at what they do.
Those new kids on the block happen to be the reigning champions of the Azubu Crystal Cup, however.
They are the reigning champs currently. Clueless is going to be trying to take back their title this time. So let's see if Hafe decides to ban the Katarina again, or if he just lets the ban go. I'm curious to see what they do here.
They seem to be thinking long and hard about it.
Yeah. Or they're just going to let the ban slide. Okay, they are going to ban out the Karma. Zyra ban coming through.
I expect them to do the same bans and up to the same first pick. I honestly don't think that they're going to get that ban back. We'll see. Time will tell.
We will see.
Well, there was another instance where something like this happened in a previous Dominion tournament when a team did not have somebody registered on their team playing for them. You know, they might have got hit with the DQ.
Oh yeah, those DQs coming across.
Sometimes people can be sticklers with rules, sometimes people are nice guys, but it looks like that timer is going to tick down to 0.
Ah, no, and the Braum coming out. Okay, so they probably said, you know what, we'll let you have your Janna. That's cool, but we ain't leaving that Braum open. That needs to go.
Well, this is a very interesting turn of events, as generally you wouldn't pick Braum with Janna either way because there's not enough damage on the team. So really all I think Clueless did is not let them have a chance at picking up Braum.
Yeah, that is... I don't know, they might have hurt themselves with this one, unless a Parkers is going to pick up that cow. But having a Janna, I mean, you have the cow who's really good against melee. Janna is like the epitome of there ain't going to be no melees in this game, and if there is a melee, it is definitely not touching my team. You got a Vi punching in, got a Jarvan coming in, nothing is going to get on your team.
Matt Saporto coming in here with the Janna pick messes up all of Clueless's flowchart right now. Generally the picks would be Vi or Alistar as the melees. Tornado stops both of their initiates. So we're going to see them pick up more than likely different champions. We see the brand being hovered because the Zyra was banned. And generally the only APs that they're going to pick right now are Malzahar or Brand, and Malzahar is not the best thing against the Janna. It floats around, it's very elusive, however if you do hit silence on it, you can generally mess with it. They're going to pick the cow anyway, because the cow is very, very fat, and occasionally Tornado will be used aggressively, in which case he can really do with it whatever he wants for a good 7 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Let's see how Killing Dominion decides to react to this one. Acoustic, or Desiree, is actually known for his AD carry play. So we'll see if he decides to pick up Kog'Maw. He does have a Mad Portal backing him up, so he is pretty safe to pick those AD carries. But he might pick something else for later. He might not want to show that AD carry too early, and Assassin might come out. Assassin's being a little gimped on the Dominion since Exhaust is such a strong summoner spell, and oh, Mad Portal actually going to be picking up the Morgana.
I imagine the Morgana would be going towards Night Sentinel to play in the bottom lane, but it would be interesting for him to pick it up this early. Unless the God himself is not a player I'm particularly familiar with, but I wouldn't. The Morgana pick is very interesting right now. They left all the 80s open, and all the hyper carries are also open, so they're most certainly going to pick one up. And we see the Vayne pick being locked in. Mm-hmm. One of the only carries that can actually chew through an Alistar, however, this is a very. They need one melee AD now, and it's going to be a very A-dimensional comp for Blue Team.
Yeah, they're not going to have too much of a different strategies to go off of here. Since they did pick up that Vayne, they're going to be looking for those team fights. They're going to be looking to keep the Vayne alive, looking for the Vayne to just blow up targets. And Generic is also going to be picking up his Ezreal. We saw it rocket last game. Once he gets that Muramana, that damage spike is going to be phenomenal. Let's see what a Parkers is going to be picking up. I'm pretty sure BB Pop is going to be playing whatever a Parkers picks, because Parkers is known as the Maokai player. So he will probably take that Alistar.
If they pick the Alistar, they might as well go ahead and pick the Pantheon. The Pantheon or the Vi are the only two things I would imagine BB Pop playing, unless he's going to go incredibly out of the box right now. The two APs are locked in. There's really those two and Jarvan left open, and they're thinking a long time about this last pick. And we see Anivia, so I guess we would have Hafe playing Anivia into this, which a bizarre pick considering Anivia is very good against melee ADs and none of the opposing champions. And I imagine Wolfer will be taking Brand into the bot lane unless they're just going to run a very AP heavy top lane comp with an Alistar.
That might be what they're doing. Snide looking to pick up the Mundo for the top lane, but swapping to his Syndra. Probably just going to let God pick that Mundo or tank. I'm not too well versed in God either. He's been around a little bit in solo queue, but he just does play a variety of champions like most people do in solo queue. Not a lot of people play their main role all the time. They just like to have some fun, work on some new champs, see what they can try to make tournament viable. But it does look like he is going to be picking up that Mundo for his team. But that Anivia pick, I mean, I know you played Anivia, I think, in last week's tournament, but you were well known for just picking up everything in tournaments and playing it and doing okay.
Havehearted has been stealing my champions. By stealing them, I mean I've taught him a decent amount of my champions. I never taught him when to pick my champions, but this is going to be a very interesting game. I'm looking forward to it. They left the Jarvan open, which just gives so much teamfight control along with the Morgana. Snide ended up picking his best champion for bottom lane, and now I guess we get to see Wolfer's answer for it.
Yeah, I've spoken with Corval multiple times. He said he had some secret strategy for taking on Snide's Syndra. I'm not sure. I cannot remember for the life of me what it was that he told me, but he said whenever he goes against Snide, he wants him to pick that Syndra now because he has something for it. And, oh, Wolfer going to be playing...
Wolfer going to dig deep into the Popple's bag of tricks and build 4 Spirit Visage Gnosis in the bot lane?
I was just thinking about that exact situation to fill in the stream viewers. But it's still the fill in.
It wouldn't be the best pick in this situation. I expect him to pick something that roams very heavily, so we get the Pantheon lock in. I have no idea what's going to go bottom, as none of these champions Wolfer really knows how to play other than Brand. I would expect the Brand to go bot. We expect Pop to play the Pantheon as we see the swaps come out.
There we go. Yep. So Hafe is going to be playing that bird. Very rarely do we see a bird. I believe we saw one last week when my good friend here who's casting with me played it. He has a very strong, very awkward, some would say, build with that Rod of Ages tier. Can you give us some insight into that? Because I know a lot of people would look at that and think you're kind of crazy, although I have seen it in action when playing with you, so I know it works really well.
I'm going to omit to comment on Rod of Ages in the tier. I'm just going to say, if you want to look at the game and evaluate how it went, you can see, you can see and test out the build for yourself. See if you like it. See if you like to go into a Fiends. Hafe generally likes building his either Roa into a Fiends or just raw Fiends build on his bird. That's generally the build he tends to go for. We see basically a Protect the Vayne comp coming out with Snide's best champion being Syndra, very, very overbearing in the bot lane. We have Wolfer playing Brand. It's really a 60-40 matchup in Syndra's favor. If Brand ever gets hit with a stun, he's dead. Syndra also has much better roaming power. S-Shields are very squishy. She can go up there, press her BFT, which is our equivalent to DFG, Deathfire's Grasp for Dominion. Item that does 20% of their target's max health damage over 6 seconds and increases all magic damage by 20%. That's our version of that item. Syndra can just press that button and press her ultimate and delete a champion from the map.
Yeah, Syndra, once she gets that BFT, is incredibly scary, and it's a lot cheaper than the Deathfire Grasp. It still gives a 10% CDR, but once an AP gets their hands on that item, if they're a bursty AP, then things will start just being deleted off the map. It's incredibly scary. I do want to say, though, I really wanted to see that Nasus bot lane, and to give everyone kind of an insight into that, High Peoples plays a lot of champions, just crazy, crazy stuff all the time in queue. He knows how to work it. He was playing a Nasus bot lane one time against another great bot laner by the name of Confitarius. Confitarius was playing the Syndra, and with that Nasus, Peoples built 4 Spirit Visages, and Syndra could not do damage to him. Literally, the Leandri's burn was dealing more damage to him than Syndra's actual abilities, and it was very, very humorous to watch.
Syndra is this champion where if you don't have 4 Spirit Visages, and I mean 4 Spirit Visages, you will die. I would highly advise stacking this thing we like to call Magic Resist against that champion, or killing it before it can touch you. Those are your options.
Yeah, Syndra is very hard to deal with in the bot lane. She has great wave clear. She's very safe. If things try to gank her, she can just stun them away. In the 1v1, if she catches you out with that stun, you're going to get blown up. That ultimate is just going to chew you up. Unless you have a lot of HP to keep yourself up, unless you have a lot of MR to just negate the damage, it is very, very scary.
I also want to note in that specific game, they did have 2 opposing AD carries on the other team. However, Gnosis is Gnosis. He has Wither, and I bought Ninja Tabi. So they really couldn't... One of the things you'll see is if there's a lane that's really bad, or if somebody builds one heavy defense, you'll see a lane swap. They had 2 auto-attack and carry, so they can't lane swap. I would definitely not advise building 4 Spirit Visages in every game against an AP. That just so happened to be the most optimal thing to do at that point in time in farm queue, because Gnosis can just have damage by CSing.
Yes, it is not a great thing. Don't go into solo queue and do Nasus bot with 4 Spirit Visages and told me, hey, those great players told me to do it. There was a rhyme and a reason to why it happened, and it was just an incredibly funny story as to why it played out and what happened with it. Alright, we are getting into this game here. This is going to be Killing Dominion since 2011. I'm pretty sure it's 2011. I think I got it wrong the last time I was saying 2014. But Killing Dominion since 2011 versus Clueless. And this is pretty much a grudge match. Because for our last Crystal Cup, these two met in the finals, and Killing Dominion took it. I want to say quite handily. I don't quite fully recall what happened in those finals matches, but for the past few Dominion tournaments, these guys, the new kids on the block, have been rocking it.
They do have a sub today. They have Desire69, who I believe it belongs to Sifu Calvin's team. Sifu Calvin, another pretty storied member of the community. He has played for a very, very long time, and made his return in a tournament the past week that was pretty interesting. I played for his team, but this is definitely not a player that generally plays on this team along with Matt Saporto and Snipe Sentinel, people who generally forge the team from the bottom up.
Yeah, the good thing about the Dominion community is there are quite a few high-level players that are just sitting around. Teams kind of come and go. You'll see a lot of name changes as the years go on. But a lot of the same players still do stick around. They just end up playing with different teams. Everyone's kind of good friends, unless people get really salty after matches, and then everyone kind of yells at each other for a week.
Oh, people kind of get really sad if you go and you bring your 5-man team to solo queue for practice and you lose to so-called solo queue scrubs and people playing Master Yi and other people playing champions you don't think they can play, you know. Salt is very heavy in the community sometimes, but, you know, it always brings very, very good competition around come the tournament.
Oh yeah, when people are practicing and trying their hardest, when you see one of those teams queuing up and you know they're in that queue, the first thing you say is, all right, I'm going to give it my all this game because I want to do my absolute best to see what I can do against these top guys. And most of the time, the top guys are just practicing stuff. You know, they're working on some weird team comps or practicing new champions, so they're not playing at 100%, and it does give you quite a good chance of beating them. And it's a lot of fun, I have to say. It's a lot of fun getting a chance to play against those guys, especially when I was brand new to the community, meeting them up in queue, and I'm just like, whoa, this is going to be an interesting game. But right back to this match here, we do see Hafe starting off with that Catalyst, probably going to be going for that ROA, and Jarvan actually starting off with the Giant's Belt, looking like he is going to go tank Jarvan this game. And then he's going to be picking up that Cloth Armor, probably going to be going for a Tabby pretty early, because Cloth Armor doesn't really build into anything too worthwhile anymore. They did nerf, well, I guess change Randuin's to be built out of Chain Vest again. So normally you would start this and go right into a Randuin's, but instead he's opting for the Giant's Belt and Cloth Armor, probably going to pick up that Tabby to stop the Ezreal auto attacks, the Pantheon damage, which is pretty alright. There isn't too much hard CC aside from the Anivia Q and the Pantheon stun that's going to keep him down. And other than that, the rest of the builds are looking pretty standard. Ezreal opting for the tier again, Alistar going for cooldowns with that Kindle Gem. And let's see this top fight. This is going to be interesting. We do have some good stuns we could see from Half-Hearted with that Anivia. It does have some walls to maybe keep some stuff out. And
it's going to be very interesting, as Vayne doesn't scale very well, but they do have Morgana for picks, and they can kind of poke in and like back out and retreat through Howling Gale with Janna. So we're going to probably see Generic trying to get sniped. We have Hafe over here messing with the Vayne on Anivia. I don't know if that's the best idea in the world, but there's really... both of these teams are terrible early game. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how these fights go down. As we see the Vayne get hit with a Q over the top, he's going to get chunked very, very hard. The god himself is going to go in. Generic is going to go over the walls to staying behind the protection of his team, where he's going to get a lot of auto attacks off. And the AD carries are just dueling right now across the wall. And Generic getting the best out of it, even though he doesn't have the good items. Yeah, blue team, they're just going to back off. They know Vayne's taking too much damage, and they don't want to give away the EXP and the kills when you die in this game mode, because the EXP in the early game is worth a very large amount. And they're just going to decide to retreat and probably send their Vayne up to go farm the minions, and then get a little bit of jungle control. If they have their hyper carry, they want money on it.
Yeah, dying early in Dominion is bad. Not only do you give that XP, but Dominion has ambient XP gain as well. When you die, you'll notice a shift in levels, and the enemy team will actually end up getting 6 before you. And that can be really, really bad if the team fight starts and they hit 6 and you're still stuck in mid-5. And you're just kind of like, oof.
Clueless fully in the jungle right now. They're looking to get engaged. They probably are stronger because Alistar and Pantheon are very, very good in the early game. We have Snipe pressuring Wolfer in lane because there's not a lot of people there. We have Half-Hearted who's going to go get the Storm buff because his team can probably hold out as Bibapop gets binded, so he's done. One positional decision. Cave made a decision, I'm going to go get Storm buff. Bibapop was still on the front lines, he did not have cover, and they caught him once and it was done. One mistake, point is over to blue team.
Yep, that's all it takes when you get up to these high levels of Dominion. One mistake is all it takes to turn the tides of a game.
Now you see right now, Clueless has a Parkhurst as a linebacker in the jungle. Cave trying to get a neutral, puts a wall up. Bibapop immediately went down to the bottom lane, out of bottom side to gank, and he is down there. We see blue team, that's why they're still contesting. They know the Pantheon's not on the map. The gank goes down to the bot lane, Wolfer goes really, really low, and we see the fight go on in the top lane because of that. 4v3 in the top lane, 2v1 in the bottom lane. Hayes is going to go down. We see the flash ultimate coming from Morgana, and he's going to catch Parkhurst before he's level 6. He's also going to go down.
Yep, down he goes.
Wolfer was traded in the bot lane, so Snide did a very good job. 1v2, he got the other kill. Bibapop was not able to do anything because of that. He tried to roam up top and help his team, but the fight was already over. And we still see blue team pressuring. They're going to get generic on his own point top lane, and now Bibapop has to ult in 1v3.
And the revives are coming out. Clueless is on their way back in.
Clueless really trying to not use revives, even though blue team is pressuring very, very well. They bring Wolfer up from the bot lane. They're probably going to send one person coming out of the base to cover bottom lane, but they're probably panicking and they're not. We have a very good binding coming on the Bibapop to try to disengage. Forgot the icing, messing up passing because of the wall. Bibapop is going to go down. The Vayne's going to blow the exhaust on the Ezreal, who Essence shifts away. And we have Parkhurst coming in here. He's also going to get bounced. This is very, very good. They're kiting, they're getting kills, and they're getting out. They're not giving away anything that they don't need to.
Yeah, Have trying to shoot a Q across, get that Morgana. Vayne is in a little bit of a position here. Cow is going to be able to... Ooh, very nice condemn, stopping the headbutt. Those mechanics there, but Ezreal is going to come in and be able to clean that up. But that was still some excellent, excellent micro there by the Vayne.
Now, Micers made a decision. He could have stayed with the Vayne, and by Micers I mean Mad's Portal, or he could have went and tried to protect the Morgana. The Vayne thought she had backup, she knew it was here, but Mad's Portal didn't have the map vision or the awareness to know that there was nobody else coming in the top lane, as we see Parkhurst initiate on the Janna on the turret. The Brand is going to bounce only twice. The god himself with this very, very good distraction and a fully charged Howling Gale hitting all members of Clueless. Meanwhile, blue team still holding the bottom lane with Snide Sentinel 1v1. They've Hearted flashing in, trying to get the Morgana. Is going to get the stun. The auto attacks coming in. They might be enough. Ezreal on the other side, fighting with a Parkhurst on the Cow against Jarvan and Vayne. Ezreal is going to go down. The Vayne is going to go down as well, because Wolfer is still up in this top lane. But none of this really matters. Well, it matters in the sense that Clueless gets the EXP, but they're still not on 3 points. So Snide Sentinel is still holding the bot lane down.
The good thing from this, though, is the quest is top lane. Clueless will be able to get this. That will give them the damage buff as well as a 20-point hit to the enemy's Nexus. So let's see if they can use this to take that advantage back. Also, I have to say, in that last team fight, Vayne went so ham. She stealth ulted, tumbled, and flashed into 3 people. That was, like, some insane stuff. Booberry would be very proud of that.
A Booberry player known for jumping in the face of many, many people. We do have Snide down here. Wolfer going for a very ambitious stun. Whiffs it. Gets stunned in the face. We have Snide again. He's taking 3 members of the opposing team's time. His Jarvan's down here to back him up. And the rest of his team is getting the objective top lane. 2v0. So here's where we'll see the map kind of stabilize. We have Half-Hearted coming down. Doing a nice wall, just checking for vision, making sure that, you know, bot lane's kind of safe. We have Ezreal still charging his tier. And here's where the jungle fights come in. Everybody wants jungle vision. We have the Anivia very close space checking in. We have Bibapop to back him up. Jarvan is going to go down. The Anivia is doing very well, zoning the entire rest of the team out. But Snide Sentinel comes up from the bot lane and gets the snipe. Wolfer blows Brand ult. Going to get Snide. We have the Vayne who's probably going to end up picking up the Brand. So we have trades left and right. Meanwhile, a Parkhurst is getting the point up top. So all Clueless has to do is back up and defend. Half-Hearted still going to get hit by the EQ. Going to hit with the bind. He's going to go down.
I have to say there, very nice play by Have. He threw his ult over the wall to slow the Vayne just a little bit, enough for Wolfer to get away, and enough time for Ezreal to catch up and help him finish off that Vayne. So Vayne did go down, Wolfer was able to stay up there. They're going to be able to defend this bot point and hold their 3 cap. So very nicely done. They did lose a few members out of it, but overall they still have the points, they have the map control. Now and let's see if they can rotate back top
and
defend
this.
This.
The map is perfectly even. Both Half-Hearted and the Vayne ended up on the same death timer. So now we see who is trying to rotate where. Clueless wants to maintain their 3 cap. They don't want to go into the opposing team's jungle right now until their Anivia is backed up, because she's a lot of their zoning potential. Top lane is slowly pushing for Clueless, so we see Mad's Portal trying to push that back out, because minions will pile up in neutral point. So we see both teams grouping up 4-man, and the bottom laners are in vision, so they want to fight. You have Parker's getting binded, which is perfectly fine with him. Perfect headbutt combo. Anivia trying to get her damage off in her zoning, but she got interrupted by Jarvan. And we have Janna just blowing ult, getting the reset. You don't want to fight into that. So Parker's is trying to back up while Bibipop is thinking about ulting in. He is going to go in, get condemned onto the wall. The Jarvan's going to come in. Parker's with another beautiful knockout while his team works on each opposing team's tank. Each tank going down at roughly the same time, but blue team has to back up because Clueless has healthier members. The very important thing to note, however, is Snipe Sentinel 1v1 Wolfer in the bottom lane, so Wolfer is going to have to blow a revive as Clueless chases onto the midpoint.
Yeah, as we were talking about earlier with that amazing ability to
diving
just
onto the Janna on the turret, and the Vayne trying to go ham. She's going to die. Revive is slowly being blown. He's also being blown on the Jarvan. However, he gets the EQ. Pantheon can go down. Anivia cannot get out of Cataclysm. She's also going to go down. And the top point is going to get neutral by the minions.
Yeah, we were talking about that minion build-up. That one Janna Q, just so little bit of a go, helped the minion wave build up and push. So now the score is 2 points to 1. Bot lane is still uncapped here. Syndra is going to be able to nuke down Brand again. What happened in that team fight was that bot point. Syndra landed the stun, landed the BFT, blew up Brand. That was it. That's all it took.
Now, Syndra winning that 1v1 caused a snowball effect. She won the 1v1. She killed Brand a second time off of his revive. Bibipop couldn't cap the point by himself. So not only did he kill Brand twice, but he brought so many members to the bottom lane. Parker's landing a beautiful EQ combo on the turret. He's going to back up because he doesn't have any more alpha to this fight. He's trying to zone a little bit, keep his Alistar alive as Bibipop waits over the wall. Almost trying to get the stun, but was barely out of range. As we see everybody slowly congregating to the bot fight, Bibipop gets the stun. Wolfer's trying to get the stun off of it, doesn't land. We have Morgana fighting Ezreal in the top lane. Ezreal with a beautiful E over the binding. Morgana floats the ult, but Ezreal is going to get that kill. So now top lane, Clueless has got it. They're still pressuring on bot point, but Parker's is telling his team, back up. We've won top lane. Wolfer, however, going to get caught. Vayne went very, very ham. She's also going to go down. So we have a 2v2, Jarvan Janna against Alistar and Pantheon with the backup coming from Snipe Sentinel. So Clueless is trying to dip out. He should have already been transitioning to the bottom lane. It was a very bad rotation on his part. He's going to get down there, but he's going to be very, very late.
Yeah, Hate's coming in now to try and even this out. Parker's blowing that ultimate, trying to get that DR so he can get in there and get them off of the point. Hate with that Anivia wave clear, cleaning out those minions.
Snipe Sentinel is going to get the cow. Cow had a decent amount of HP, but Snipe, thinking about it, he had enough damage, got the kill. Very simple.
That extra BFT burn was able to finish it off, taking away 20% of their max HP.
Hape, however, with the Rylai's burn, baiting his team in the... Wolfer with the Rylai's burn, baiting his team a little bit, but Clueless still had more members. Jarvan being a little bit ambitious, wanted to try to get the kill. Snipe, very low on mana, very low on health, trying to fight 3 people in this bot lane. Now, he does have bot lane farm. He's doing a very good job. He might need to hit the Anivia once. Boom, he's dead. Wolfer closing in. Q hits, stun, he's down. And at the portal's hit a dance around the top lane. We have up top, we have Pantheon and Ezreal. They're just going to trade. Ezreal's going to go down, and so is Vayne. So both AD carries down there. Clueless still maintaining their 3 cap, however.
Very nicely done. They seem to be just holding good pressure at certain points in the map. When they're losing someone, they're getting someone back in exchange. Their rotations are seeming a lot better. Ezreal held that top point 1v2 quite a while until Bibipop could get up there on that Pantheon to give him a hand. So very nicely done there. Jarvan is going to be looking to pick up this Storm Relic here. And let's see if Parkers can get this gank off in the bot lane. He's going to try to get it. He's coming around from the back. That is going to be a free stun.
Meanwhile, Clueless being very ambitious, walking next to the Death Rush. They're going to opt to fight right now without knowing where the 4th person of the blue team is. They're going to get in very slowly. Hape doing a very, very good job on an Anivia with the zoning. The Janna also is going to steal Bibipop's fate, but it's also going to let Hape and Genneric escape. That's the portal taking a ton of damage. The gank in the bot lane worked out decently. We see Wolfer coming back up. I don't know if he blew a revive or not, but the Vayne is definitely going to go down. She's far too away from her team. So Clueless is probably going to be able to get back up top and defend it. Ezreal coming out is going to interrupt the Janna. And they're just going to reinforce top lane. The minions are pushing on to blue team's midpoint, but they're going to choose to ignore it to try to win the fight. Matsupoto and the Morgana are probably going to get away. The Jarvan diving onto the top point. Going to get the condemn. However, Genneric still gets over the wall, so he's perfectly fine as Parker comes up for reinforcements. He still wants to fight this fight because the other 2 members are definitely out of it.
There's going to be a dead Jarvan. They're trying to get onto this Vayne, but the Vayne's kiting is too much. Doesn't have the EQ combo ready to go. Just headbutts her way, and they both disengage.
Right now we have 2 members dead on each. No, we have 1 person in the base. We have Bibipop. He's going to get the Janna. We have a bind landing, but no. We have the revives coming back out. So here's where Clueless is going to say, we need the backup. Wolfer is getting pressured on the bot lane. He needs to not die. That's all he needs to do. His team is doing very, very well as we see this game's points ticking down to relatively even between the both of them.
Oh, the Pantheon ult is coming in. Wolfer does have the spook. He goes for the slow as well as the Rylai's. That is going to be one dead Syndra as the Pantheon drop comes down to finish it off.
Syndra does have her revive up currently. We have Ezreal and the Alistar just trying to stall for right now. Have's doing a very good job, but he's getting low on mana, stalling out the Vayne. So because you have an Ezreal on your team, it can poke very well. You can stall out these points in these engages where you're in a disadvantaged position because of all of these slows and just the ability to walk backwards. As we see Have, he managed to get the Vayne. He also has Egg right now. Generic is trying to fight the Janna, and the Alistar decided to leave and opt to go to the bottom point.
I think Generic is going to get taken down. The pressure from Janna with the slows is just too much. Hafe is going to be able to get out of that Egg, keeping him alive.
Hafe is getting to have his map awareness. Janna could have just walked up to him, but Hafe is conditioned to Janna because she just presses R and gets the E damage. There's a lot of damage to come to Janna's face. She doesn't have any MR, so she doesn't really want to walk up to this Anivia anymore. Parker's, however, is going to get the neutral in the bottom lane, but everybody from blue team is recalling, and Parker's knows it. There's no people on the map, so he's just going to back up and be very defensive.
And Ezreal does have that Muramana finished as well as that Iceborne. He's going for that Heavy Kite. He's probably going to go for that Last Whisper next. We'll see what he decides to get after that. That'll be a crucial turning point once he has most of his damage items finished. Hafe is going to opt to try and get the Relic right now. Parker's just trying to get some zoning, making sure, being a distraction, keeping his team safe while they regroup. Coming in with that
going very, very deep around bottom jungle, but that's where Snide is. You don't generally want to fight with the other team's bottom lane in there, but they also have theirs, so it's relatively even since they're both AP carries. It's very hard for their team to get a good engage out because Alistar is their initiate. You can't really initiate as Alistar through binds and through Janna Tornado, so that's why you see a lot of these fights in the neutral. Now, Clueless has very, very good positioning, and the blue team's sees and has an idea of that they're in the top side jungle. What they should do right now is beeline towards Quest, but they're still going to try to go up and attack top point. This is a very bad rotation on their part, but they want to win a team fight. We have Anivia here. She's just going to say, no, you can't come through this way. They're going to rotate into the other side of the jungle. They're going to put the black shield. And Have did a ton of damage to Mad Support. They're going to try to get onto the Alistar, but he's perfectly fine. He could recall and come around their midpoint right now, but he's going to opt to just heal himself and move downward. Pantheon's going to ult directly onto the Jarvan. That's going to pull all the members of blue team around. Pantheon's going to flash out. Beautiful decision by Bebepop. He's going to make them hard commit onto the turret while his team comes back. He's going to instantly blow his revive, so they're trapped in a very good fight for Clueless. Parker's is going to initiate on Forgot the Icing. We have Hafe and Generic are going to take down the yellow Vayne, who's away from their Janna. Snide's going to get the neutral on bot lane in the meanwhile, but Clueless is definitely going to clean up this entire fight. Very beautiful play by Bebepop. Forced them to initiate on him, and had the answer of his revive, and they get all the opposing members.
And now it's going to turn to a poke war here down in bot lane. Wolfer is very low, and he is going to go down. He did just pop, and was forced to blow that revive with Snide using, again, the BFT ult combo. Just
this
so
is, again,
strong.
Snide winning his bottom lane is having an incredible influence on this game. He won, he killed Wolfer, he forced Bebepop down there. Bebepop couldn't fight him. The rotation came from blue team, and they are going to take bottom point and Quest. Clueless, in response, they tried to push one to the midpoint, but it's 3v3, and blue team has a turret, so they can't do that.
Yeah, they're going to have to handle these minions right now. They're piling up. They're going to be quite a problem if they manage to get to the tower. They'll start neutralizing it, so Parker's going up to clean that up.
Snide Sentinel waiting, trying to see if he can snipe Wolfer. Meanwhile, the fight top lane still will be stalled out because you can't really initiate through Janna and through Anivia, so it's very, very interesting. Parker's slowly healing himself up. He has the Relic if he wants to opt to get it, but Generic has no life still, so he might want to get it. Parker's going to come down here. They want to try to posture a little bit, but they see the Jarvan coming around the side. They don't know where Bebepop is, so they're going to opt to take the fight. Ezreal in the back is going to get a beautiful ult. It's going to take Janna very, very low. It's going to get Morgana out. Bebepop joins the fight because it is still going to end up being a 4v4. It's Generic still trying to put out the deep. Gets the double kill. Bebepop blowing the exhaust on the Vayne. Parker's is like, no, we don't have enough health for this. And YOLO Vayne, this is the time to go YOLO, but the Bebepop goes in, gets the jump, blows the exhaust. It's just not going to be enough as Janna and Vayne are most certainly going to eliminate all the people around top point.
Yeah, that Janna Vayne combo was incredibly hard to deal with. Vayne picking up that Hex Drinker as well to try and stop some of the AP
Half-Hearted
bursts.
playing games in the bottom lane with Snide right now. As Wolfer seems to come, Snide's going to get the stun. Dunk Hape. Wolfer seems like he's going to pick up the kill. Meanwhile, at top lane, Clueless did use their revives very, very well. Come in, the top point, and they look like they're going to get it back unless the reinforcements from the blue team come in time.
And
they are going to get the stop on the cap. Generic finding himself in a terrible position, decides to blow Flash. He's going to try to get out of there. Bind, however, hits him. Pop's going to opt to run away very, very far. Generic going to hop over the wall. Someone just being caught, but I forgot the icing. That definitely had to be the wrong button on his part. And we're going to be back to a neutral post game. We have Wolfer opting to come up to the 5v5 team fight as Stein walks in the bottom lane. They're going to have Bibipop, who's very low, try to hold against the Syndra.
The red team has captured the win.
They are going to be able to get the top point on lockdown. Let's see if they can follow up on the kills and push for the mid. Looks like Babypop is going to try to cover that bot, but I don't know how much he can do against that Syndra that could just blow him up instantly. Very nice EQ.
Parker's still trying to get an initiate down, but he's definitely protected. The Pantheon's going to ult from bottom lane to top lane. They're going to commit fully to this fight as that beautiful Skyfall comes down, hits 3 members. Vayne's trying to kite into the jungle along with Jarvan, and Parker definitely wants to kill. EQ from Jarvan comes down, keeping the Vayne alive for a little bit longer. Bibipop's still not able to get it, but they're going to get the Jarvan down. And nobody but defended the bot lane, so Clueless's push, while it did net some kills, it doesn't seem like it's going to net the objective, which is the midpoint that they wanted. We have Forgot the Icing, who's going to come up and raw alt Wolfer. Bibipop's going to come up with some backup. Janna's going to opt for the shield, but it's not enough, as Forgot the Icing does go down on Morgana. We also have Vayne fighting Anivia on the other side of the map. It looks like the Vayne might get away, and we have Parkhurst and Syndra dueling it out in the bottom lane. We have Bibipop, who's trying to come down for a very, very nice rotation and get a pick off Knight when he's not on top of the turret.
Well, looks like Gen DC'd, so we might have a pause coming through here. Okay, now that we have a time to just chill and talk, Dominion always so action-packed, never time to take a break. Let's take a look at these builds, let's take a look at these positions, and see what is going on. What does Clueless need to do to bring this back? Right now, Wolfer just keeps getting blown up by the Syndra. No one has anything to handle this Syndra right now in that bot lane. She's got the Merle to stop the healing. She's got the BFT, the Void, and the Hat for the amazing burst. If you try to burst her down yourself, again, she has that hat, she's got the Wooglets, she can pop that Zonias, so it's incredibly hard to deal with him right now. It seems like kind of a good idea for that 4 Spirit Massage build that you were talking about earlier.
Well-played Syndra is really not a joke in a 1v1 lane. You see it played in the LCS, you see it played in OGN, you see it played here because Syndra is a very, very, very strong solo champion. She has all the tools she needs for success. High single-target bursts, multi-target stuns, multi-target slows. She can really handle a lot of various situations with that and just casually walk away from things that she doesn't want to deal with.
Yeah, and again, as you were saying earlier, it's really hard for Parkhurst to get these initiates and get these fights going because he is an Alistar, and when he tries to go in, he has, you know, the Black Shields to deal with. He has the Janna Tornado to deal with. On top of that, Hafe kind of needs to get those really good walls to block off the retreat of killing Dominion, because if he can get a good wall in as a Parkhurst goes in, then they're not going to be able to fall back. They're going to have to sit in the AoE, and they're going to be forced to fight in that situation. Vayne can tumble through the wall, yes. Jarvan can probably get away from the wall, but the other two aren't going to be able to get away unless Flash is up. So right now it's really looking like Clueless is going to have to get a good team fight, include Snide in that team fight, and kill him. And if they can get that really good 5v5 and ace, they can gain some map control, gain some breathing room, and get back into this fight.
The other issue coming down into this late game is, as you see the rotations and the impact on the game being very, very important, what you need to know is the revives. Blue team has more revives than Clueless does. All of Brand's revives are gone. Snide has been absolutely destroying him in the bot lane. He is 14-6-1 on his bot lane Syndra. And the only reason he can play bot lane Syndra is back at Champion Select, the first plan Blue team had was Fizz. Wolfer is very much known for his Fizz, and Fizz is a very hard counter for Syndra. With that out of the table, he can pick Syndra safely and do this in a game, which is very important. That's how this all came to be.
Yeah, Wolfer being very well known for his bot lane Fizz, just able to 1v1 and just mess stuff up with it, especially against Syndra. I know Snide has had quite a lot of problems with that Wolfer Fizz, and as we do get into the 3-minute mark, I am going to put it back onto the overlay screen here, and just because of the 3-minute delay, we don't want the players to come and look at the stream and see where people are. Although they wouldn't really do that, we just have to do it in case. But
you know,
yeah,
better safe than sorry. You know, never know what happens behind the scenes.
But yeah, Wolfer is great with that Fizz. He's beaten multiple Syndras with it without too much trouble. He has the ability to just say, hey, I don't care about your ult, it's not going to blow me up, and then can turn right around and burst her. By them banning that Fizz and leaving that Syndra open, as you said, Snide is just free to do whatever he wants. He has full control of this bot lane right now, and that is a very, very big problem.
And see, as we get into the very, very late game, we see what champions have the most impact. Pantheon, he's not really doing too much anymore. Jarvan, he opts for a very supportive, very tanky build, so he can take a lot of damage, and he's really just trying to get in the Anivia's face. Hape has been doing a very good job. He's still been able to get his zoning off and affect the backline and isolate the Jarvan by himself, and that's the first target that they've been focusing. Vayne has also not opted for a build that scales very, very well in the late game. She's been going very, very ham and not worrying about her positioning, trying to have a Hex Drinker and just trying to take through it with the Morgana shield, with the Janna shield. She's gone 10, 10, and 4, so it's had very mixed success. We see Gin in the back. He's just trying to do what he can, but he has a lot of stuff that he has to deal with. Generally, his team is dealing with the Jarvan and dealing with other things, and the Janna and the Morgana literally just hunt him down and auto-attack him to death, really.
Yeah, it's been really, really hard for him. And looking at the gold across the board, and I'll show this as soon as we unpause the stream and get back into the game, and I'll leave it up for a little bit for you guys. Looking at everyone's total gold, there actually isn't too much of a difference among all the top laners. One of the great things about Dominion is everyone has ambient gold gain. Capping towers and champion kills are where most of your gold comes from, but you won't see a very drastic gold difference between most of the 4 top laners. The biggest gold difference you will see is between bot lane and the top lane. To put that in perspective right now, Snide has 13,000 gold. And the next lowest person, the absolute lowest person in the game is going to be, let's see, it's looking to be Janna and Jarvan with 9.6k. So even then, that's only about a 4k, if that, gold difference, and that's between the bot lane and the top lane. As for all the top lanes, everyone is pretty much even on gold. You have 2 people with 10k, 2 people with about 9, almost hitting 10k. And we are actually resuming the game right now, so we'll get right back into it.
Currently we have Parkers and Bibipop around the bot lane, dancing around. We have Snide just really kiting Parkers very, very effectively as Parkers is trying to bait and get Snide in. Corner. We have the EQ is going to whiff, and Snide's going to opt to go for Hape, who has the Roa and the Athene. So he's going to end up
very bulky.
Snide, however, does have a revive. He's opting to not use it. We have blue team. They have a very, very good amount of people top lane. Jarvan going to opt to take the Janna shield and his defensive stats and go directly in on the Pantheon, who's not very tanky. Pantheon is going to get ulted. Forgot the icing. He's going to run around in the Cataclysm when the chase comes up. He's going to stop the cap, but the YOLO Vayne from the back is going to come down, put him in egg form, and he's going to go down as well. Wolfer opting to come from bottom to top since Snide didn't blow revive, but he's not going to have a very big impact on the fight. He's going to flash out. He might not die, and he might stall long enough for Generic to come in. Nobody is capping the top point, and Wolfer is just going to walk kind of away. Parkers is perfectly tanky. One of the other revives are being popped. As you see Anivia coming back up to this fight, they're probably going to be able to get the Janna off of this.
Yep, it looks like she's going to get locked down and taken out. And again, Wolfer doesn't actually have a Void Staff right now, and because of that, oh my goodness, Bibipop going absolutely ham, doing that man drop into a flash and shield stun. He might actually be able to... Oh,
Snide Sentinel with the beautiful plays, Rootlets in the flash. Meanwhile, top lane, we see another good Rootlets, forgot the icing going to live on his own point when Parker's tried to initiate. We have the god himself going in for a nice standard combo as Wolfer's ult goes and bounces through. We see Vayne still alive with the Hex Trigger puck. The kiting from Wolfer being very, very good. He's going to get a double kill. Generic just trying to auto-attack Matt the portal down. He's going to get him. He gets hit by the binding. The pool's going to go down. Wolfer, worried about himself a little bit, didn't go super, super high. We have Parker's coming in, but the black shield was still up, so his Q whiffs. And Snide Sentinel still managed to cap the bot lane again. So that's pretty much... It might be game. They need to... Parkers and Wolfer have to get this Morgana down, but the Jarvan is very much so here for the backup, and he's much too tanky, so I do believe that's going to be the game.
Yeah, and Snide is right back down there in the bot lane to try and interrupt it again, so that is going to be game 1, going to killing Dominion. Very nicely played by both teams. Some excellent, excellent high-level Dominion there. Always a blast to watch. Alright, let's get into our post-game screen here. Apologize for the no victory screen. Spectator is a little buggy this patch, so we have to manually exit the game. Alright. So, we get into our post-game screen here. That's Snide from bot lane, 15-7-1. So that is a very, very, very scary Syndra. I would be surprised if Clueless does not ban this out next game.
This has kind of been a consistent for the last few tournaments that Snide's been in. He has consistently taken Syndra bottom and beaten Wolfer the last 3 times that they have seen each other. It's been quite handily.
Yeah, hopefully, I mean, I don't know that Wolfer has anything other than his Fizz, and if they...
He has a Nocturne. He can't... When Wolfer first jumped into the scene, he was known as a Nocturne player. He would ult top and have very good effect on the top fights, but he was never really known for his 1v1 laning, which is what is being forced to happen. Now, what Nocturne does, Nocturne is still a good pick against Syndra. You just need to use your ult in bottom lane. Spell Shield is very, very good. You can Spell Shield the first stun if you're very good about it, and you can just kill her before she's able to do anything during Fear. I don't know if he isn't really familiar fighting that match at 1v1, or he just opts out of it for whatever reason. I think that's his best pick other than Fizz. If Fizz is banned, I really think he should opt to ban Syndra.
Yeah, well, let's check our damage dealt. I'm not going to be surprised that Syndra is at the very top, followed by the Vayne, even though Vayne was going incredibly ham there. And still managed to put out quite a bit of damage, but at the cost of...
protect the Vayne comp, I mean.
Yeah.
She's supposed... Nobody else really has the damage to do.
She did die 11 times, but she did her job, I guess, before she went down. So that was what she was trying to do. Alright, well, very nicely done. We will get this next room set up for you guys and get into our second match. And but before we do that, I do have to talk about this super awesome mousepad being given away by Azubu right now. If you guys want to get in on this, we will have someone link it in the chat, but you can win a Razer mousepad signed by Curse. Voyboy, Saint, Cop, Nijaki, Liquid all signed this, and you can win it. All you have to do is follow the link that will be in chat momentarily, and then you just have to follow Azubu or do any of these things down below. You can get your entry in. There are 8 days left. If you don't win the mousepad, however, there is also a chance to win a Rammus hat or a Teemo cap, both of which are pretty awesome. So if you guys want to get on that, make sure to visit the link, do what you need to do, and also give Azubu some shout-outs. Hosting up this Dominion tournament, it's great stuff. It's always fun to do this. If you guys want to compete, be on the lookout for the next one. I'm sure we'll have sign-ups and stuff announced within probably a week or two, so you guys can get in, get your team together. There's also some great community-hosted tournaments as well. If you check out the Dominion forums, I'm sure someone could direct you over to that. But let's get into commercial. We'll get this next game loaded for you guys.